praying to God no technical difficulties because I'm like, that shit is always the biggest L.
Yeah.
I bet. Looks like the shit is running. So we good. So do a little quick intro. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to Why Black People Like Anime live stream with FD, who's holding it down. I really want to appreciate you, OD, for taking the time to join me on my channel on this stream. You basically got a cold call from me, but you answered it and you here today. So shout out to you, man. Appreciate you.
Most def, man. Most def. Happy to be here. Always happy to it's always, I joke that it's fake fame. This is not, I am approachable. I may not respond to every message. There's been plenty of people that have hollered at me and I went and looked at their channels like, I don't know.
You gotta come correct. Make sure your resume is all right.
Right. Yeah. And like don't reach out to me and then have like stuff on your channel that if you know me, I ain't trying to come through. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I ain't even that rigid in real life. I like people think I'm such a like rigid, righteous dude.
Yeah.
At all times. Like I made a boob joke in the anime video, and like I've made it very clear that I'm a fan of boobs. I have at least 6-7 strip club jokes throughout my catalog, and I live in Atlanta, right? Anyway.
But if like, you know, if you know Atlanta, you know.
And like, so,
we love the wings there.
Right. The wings,
Yeah, the wings.
And so like, people was clutching their pearls. I'm like, I do live outside of the politics. We all do, in fact, Yeah. That said, if you got fuckery on your shit, I ain't.
Facts, bro.
I'll keep an eye from a distance.
We're not here for fuckery today, but hopefully it could. You never know when fuckery could appear. But hopefully the fuckery doesn't go too crazy this time around.
Definitely.
So, I got inspired from watching the video you dropped a couple weeks ago in regards to kind of delving into anime. And you've done it before on like a lot of your other videos, but this one was like kind of like the most focused, and it was really, really long and drawn out. So it was the most I really got to really see your thoughts on different forms of anime. And I really was sitting there like, oh, I wonder what he's gonna. I was like clutching my pearls, waiting to see like, oh, I wonder what he's gonna talk about. What he's gonna talk about, like, because you exploring like manosphere stuff and things like that. So I'm like, oh, he probably about to spit on some berserk shit. He about to spit on some. We knew the Attack on Titan stuff was coming because we was chatting before. We knew the Eren slander was coming. You've had the Eren slander.
I got a problem
in pockets.
Yeah, I'm struggling with the Eren slander. I really am. Like I'm maybe I'm so going so hard on the Eren slander, hoping that the universe picks it up and they change the ending in the anime, and I can just make the original ending non-canon in my head. That's like my hope. But yeah, I got so much smoke for Eren Yeager and his fans and his defenders, and I maybe need to like evaluate that. I need to process that internally at this point.
Yeah,
like why does it make me so mad?
Yeah, it's weird because I think this is probably the first time in at least that I know of. I could obviously be wrong because obviously somebody will fact check, and there are plenty of facts I don't know. I'm just speaking off the dome. I'm not an expert, but I think this feels like the first time the anime community as a whole is somewhat hoping for an anime original ending as opposed to the manga, which is a weird place to be in, especially like for a series that is this good. This is not to say Attack on Titan is bad. You know what I mean? It's the shit still slaps. It's just
I wouldn't be so angry if I didn't love it. I wouldn't. I showed the picture of me, dressed up in my I can't even remember now. Scout Corps joint, and I had my babies like that was years ago. Yeah. I got one picture. It's me and my wife and my youngest, who's probably like 1 at the time, and then my oldest, who's maybe 2 or 3 or 4. And we're ready. We are Scout Corps. So I can't really do it now because my arms are so damn sore. I can't even like.
You're too broad. They're not sore. They're just too broad.
I love the shit. I love the shit. It's got flaws, right? Other than the obvious.
Yeah.
But I'm a sucker for a story that's doing as much as that story did, which is why to have it drop the ball the way it did, like that ruined like several days for me. Like several days out of my week, I remember vividly. I was mad I hadn't been that mad about a piece of media since Mass Effect 3.
Damn. Yeah. I was like, in my head, I'm like, damn, the only thing I compared to right before that was like Game of Thrones, because like that shit.
Game of Thrones started failing like a year or two before. So at least I saw that coming. I just knew
you got hit by the sneaking nation. They ducked you real quick, boy.
Right. It's rough. It's a rough situation.
But let's get more into some of your anime experience outside of Attack on Titan. So what was like your first exposure to like anime and manga? Like how did it resonate with you when it first came out? Because I'm 31. I think you're like maybe like two. I got
10. No, I got 10 years on you, bro.
Oh,
I'm 41. I turned 41 this summer. And so I'm talking.
You probably have two completely different experiences.
We probably definitely do, because you're of the age of like some of my first students. Yeah. When anime, I feel like around your like teenage years is when anime fully emerged as a thing that everybody could participate in, versus like being a, it was you were a pretty hardcore nerd. Well, not hard. You had to be really nerdy, and being nerdy in the 90s, especially being black and nerdy specifically.
It don't equate the same as now.
It's a different game to now. Yeah. Like the way y'all black nerds be like having girlfriends and being popular and shit. Like
the way that was not regular. I'll be just having regular lives and shit now. That's crazy.
Yeah, like that's not like being a black nerd in the 90s was like a deep dark secret. You had a closet and a drawer, and you looked around and you pulled it out, and like you would find other black nerds at your school, and it would be like Hell Hydra. Like you had code words, like, and niggas are like, "Oh shit, you too? Hey yo, look at the Sailor Moon." So like it was like that my age, and so it was probably the first thing I was truly a fan of like I watched a lot of a Sailor Moon, and then the first Dragon Ball. We had the show called Ronin Warriors.
Oh yeah.
It's obviously Voltron, but Voltron wasn't an anime like.
Yeah, it tells us weird. Tells us weird line like you Power Rangers and Transformers at the same time. Like I don't know what's going on here.
Exactly. And so like it was, we had to wake up early on Saturday morning to watch the Saturday morning cartoons. And the first few cartoons were often animes. It was usually Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, whatever. And the Ronin Warriors for some reason would come on at like 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday night. You know what I'm saying?
Too explicit.
Yeah, it was too violent. And there's another one I can't even remember. But either way, like, so that kind of like burst my bubble, like, oh, there's a whole type of animation happening outside of the States that's like going way harder. Like animation started to go hard at a certain point in the 90s. You had Gargoyles, you had Batman, what I'm saying? But like
Disney was randomly spitting during that era for some reason.
Right.
Nobody, I don't think people talk about that era enough with Disney, but they were spitting.
Yeah. And so, but for the most part, if you wanted something that wasn't, Care Bears or whatever, like you had to find anime. And so that's like probably like early 90s into the mid 90s. By the mid 90s, a handful of niggas was watching Dragon Ball, but it still wasn't what it was today. It wasn't no Dragon Ball do-rag, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't.
This wasn't just walking around wearing shirts regularly. Like now it's turned into fashion and shit. Yeah.
And so by the time I'm a teacher and like you would have been the age of my students, and I'm seeing like, and I'm teaching in the hood at certain points, I'm teaching in the hood. And I'm seeing like, little boys just walking through the hallway, with hitting Leaf Village headbands on. And, shit, and they not Naruto, well, some of them are Naruto running, but other ones is like dapping niggas up, like, what's up? What we doing after school? I'm like, do y'all get this? Is this allowed?
Time paradox?
Right. And I was low-key jealous. I was low-key jealous because, now it wasn't all perfect, right? Like there's still a dynamic of young people, of feeling ostracized when you're a black nerd. That hasn't went away at all, even today. It's probably lesser today than it was. It's probably getting less and less because internet culture is so ubiquitous among young people. So I don't want to poo-poo the fact that I got students who I'm still cool with that definitely were bullied and picked on for being nerdy, but but they still had each other. They had a community within the school. Yeah. Versus like what my day, that wasn't the thing.
Yeah, it's always interesting because you'll see the memes here and there now. Because I've made like a little small videos here and there. It's like what has caused like anime to reach the popularity that it has now in the past, like I want to say maybe 5 to 10 years.
I feel like it's
maybe
like a decade.
2013. Yeah, like maybe like 2013 to now, and that's obviously probably akin to when Attack on Titan anime came out, right?
Right.
Shit dropped on Netflix around like 2013. But people make memes. They're like, "Oh, we weren't making fun of you for being in anime. We were making fun of you for Naruto running in the hallway." And then you have to be like, "All right, listen. I know there's gonna be some people. There's some people who did that. Yes, but majority of us was really just chilling." We would admit that we would still maybe be into Yu-Gi-Oh, but we wasn't in here running around with little dual discs in the front of school. I wasn't out here just screaming Dark Magician and Blue Eyes White Dragon for no reason. I was lucky enough where like I had the experience of I've always been into anime and I've always put that out there. I've never hidden it, but not on some two in my own horn shit. I was also a chill ass nigga. So it worked out. I wasn't hiding it, but I wasn't also like overly flaunting it. But that also may have come from like a little bit of insecurity at the time of not overly flaunting it the way that kind of everybody is now. It's like if you're not into anime now, you kind of a fuck. You might be the weirdo.
You're the lame now. It's really weird. It's like probably it's anime bullies now. The nerds are the bullies, especially on Twitter.
Nerds, the best comebacks will come from that side of Twitter. Or X. Sorry, X.
Yeah, whatever. I keep forgetting. That's why I'm so happy I'm not on Twitter, on X too much now. Yeah. For that very reason. I think it's complicated, right? Like, all right, so let me get into the bag real quick. We're talking about being black and young in America. So that's like, let's start there. You black and young in America, so everything's more complex. And then there's a constructed image of what black youth culture is and is supposed to be. And it's not even like it's not all that real, even for the people that participate in it. Like I know, and I'm sure you from Brooklyn, you know, real street niggas. Like 100%. They're not the image that is often portrayed in the media. You know what I'm saying? When
you get to actually know them, sorry guys, when you get to actually know black people, they're not. We're all different.
It's I've known a goon or two, and I see that. But most dudes, like even from the roughest backgrounds, are just normal dudes. But like that,
the same goon is probably playing Animal Crossing,
right? Just chill, you know. But the culture is so overbearing, and so when you don't fit into that in any situation, which if you don't fit into the dominant like status quo, then you're liable to be, ostracized. And so let's also be clear, like anime does have a specific appeal to, I would say, the socially marginal. You know what I'm saying? People that are not as easily extroverted, that aren't as easily able to just chill and be, comfortable in the situation. It's a lot of scaring the hoes energy. I'm keeping it above, 100%. Right? And so like when you add the black element to it, there's also like this difficult thing of like how blackness is policed. Are you black enough? Are you performing the right type of blackness? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I get a lot of flack because people think that I'm trying to tell people they're not black enough or that they're the wrong type of black, whatever. And really, I just be like, you happen to be whack and black at the same time in a specific way I'm describing. But every experience in a black body to me is a black experience. And so, the anime thing is difficult because if you are a young black person that doesn't fit in and you find this other culture, then you might develop some bad habits and ways of like engaging with blackness. Like the hating nigga, the anime pipeline is a real thing. You know what I'm saying? 100%. And so like, and for the ladies, please believe the ladies and sisters can be just as bad in the equation. And so like, I try to hold space, believe it or not, for whoever's watching. I really do try. The reason why I got back into anime around 2013 was because I started, as I said in the video, I started managing or whatever, like anime clubs. Yeah. And like, it was a lot of like young black kids just trying to figure it out. And some of them I was really cool with. And I was really like, yeah, this little boy, this little girl, they got it together, whatever. And there's a handful of them like, ooh, you saying some things here. And like, let's have some side conversations and see if I can help you process and work through some of these views and isms that you're developing, because I don't think they're going to help you in the long run. And that's how I still feel today, you know?
Yeah, it depends. Like you gotta take with the information what you will in a proper way. And some people, like you said, when we was talking about the media literacy thing, some people just take the wrong things and digest the wrong things and kind of spit it back out.
Yeah.
Like you said, like in regards to the marginalized aspect, you think that kind of like appeals to a lot of us. But you think there's any other aspects, I think, within anime and manga that's kind of appealed to, because it is an anomaly in itself.
Yeah,
I think about how Black people are really into anime and how much we've pushed the culture forward itself.
I think part of it is also like,
besides the boxing.
Yeah, right. I think part of it is the way that Black folks have often been excluded from fantasy spaces. You know, you have your token Black folks in Star Trek and Billy D. Williams in Star Wars, and then like fantasy anything, you pretty much got nothing, right? And so when you're, again, young and Black, man, having an imagination of a world and a reality that's different and better and more welcoming than what you tend to be like, than what you tend to see in the real world, like I think that's attractive. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think it's you know, and that's for everybody. Like everybody's attracted to anime. Some of that fantasy is useful.
Yeah.
But I think because anime presents such a foreign worldview where, you know, in a weird way, and I'm not going to hold myself to this statement too tough because I need to unpack it more, but you don't feel that certain Blackness that like weighs on you when you're in that fantasy space. When something hype happens, you know, you feel like that relief, you know what I'm saying? Which is why I think it sometimes lends itself to anti-Blackness, because people want to stay there forever and they don't want to like process the reality of the situation. But like, when I'm, you know, like when I watched, are you familiar with Code Geass? Geass. I always say that.
Yeah, Code Geass, yeah.
Right, Lelouch, Like when I'm watching Lelouch break shit down, you know, I'm not thinking about, you know, what's going on in my neighborhood or what's you know, what's stressing me out on the news or whatever, or who just became president. I'm in there, you know, and
don't have to say like a Hey Arnold or Rugrats.
you know, it's and it treats the viewer with a higher level of maybe respect, you know, without judging them. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but there's definitely a fantasy aspect.
Yeah, that's always been what I think has allured me to it, because I mean, if we harken back to like your experience versus mine, I'm born in 91. So once Toonami became a thing, I was probably about maybe 9 years old. And I was always into cartoons. That's also because of like my mom. She still to this date watches cartoons regularly. Like she's a nerd, but still be roasting me for being a nerd. So it doesn't really make any sense, whatever. But kind of that different world and just everything that anime offered at the time. And at that time, it was Gundam Wing, Dragon Ball Z, Tenchi Muyo, which is a harem, and so it's weird. I thought
I'm familiar. I'm not against trash in anime. I've watched the trash anime once or twice in my life. Yeah, I never got into Tenchi Muyo too much though. Yeah,
it had me fucked up at that time. I was like, oh, word, my son is like chilling and he got mad bitches. I'm like, maybe that could be me. I'm like, nah, that ain't gonna be you, bro. Ain't gonna be you, bro.
I Tenchi Muyo, most of the harem anime lose me because nobody like, and I'm the anti-manosphere dude, right? But I don't like how none of these dudes seem to really be interested in getting it in with these ladies. Like it frustrates me.
Make it a little more realistic. Make it a little
more realistic. Like have the dude speak instead of boundary. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I like. Oh, I'm falling again. Oh no, my head hit a titty. Like it gets frustrating after a while. I can't think of any like harem that I've watched that really did that well, but maybe they have now. You know, anime is so what's the word? Meta against itself these days. So I'm sure there's some harems that are less trash now. And there's a cultural aspect to it because, like, you know, I don't know enough about Japanese culture. Shout out to I went on a small live a couple of weeks ago, and I met these dudes that are like legit academic scholars for the culture of like otaku culture. And they kind of talk about like why certain tropes that seem like ridiculous to us still have relevancy over there. Like they broke down like how isekais, it was interesting. Like I would have thought, I talked about in the video, like isekais, that's some young stuff, right? That's like, dudes in their teens and 20s, like, oh, I'm gonna go to this other world where I get all the bitches and like I'm more powerful. Right, but it's actually, according to their research, isekais is a more adult genre over there. In that it's more so men in their 30s, and how you were describing your own work experience, that are like, it's actually has a more depressing dynamic, because they're like thinking, man, if I get hit by a truck that wouldn't be so bad, because they're being so like hurt by the work world and whatnot. So it's interesting. But yeah, put if you in the chat, put some good harems.
Yeah, let us know some good harems out here.
So that break the mold in the chat. We'll see. I may catch them this weekend. I don't know.
You know what's an anime that's airing right now that kind of touches on that right now, and that shit slapped me in the face. It just started. It's called Zom 100.
Zom 100.
Zom 100. Bucket list
not
of the day.
Mob.
Nah, not Mob. Mob is a whole different beast in itself. But Zom 100, I'm not going to spoil too much about what it's about, just quick synopsis. But it takes place in, I guess, what would be kind of our world. And this dude who's probably in his mid-20s.
Oh, I heard it. I probably saw one of the main anime people talking about this one.
Yeah.
He's like trying to live his life to the fullest after the apocalypse.
Yeah, but he was hype about the apocalypse because he didn't have to go to work no more, because work for the past 3 years, he's worked mad OT. He hasn't taken a single day off. He found out he was working for an exploitative company, all of that. And he was like, this shit is trash. And as soon as the zombie apocalypse happened, he was like, oh, I don't got to go to work tomorrow. Then this nigga on a motorcycle during the zombie apocalypse going to 7-Eleven to get beer just so he can come back to the crib and drink it and have a chill day. Like this shit, it hits on that kind of that isekai aspect you just said, like kind of that escapism, like just trying to get out of that work and that exploitative like work culture that a lot of people probably deal with over there on that end. Yeah,
and that's the thing. And so bring the bat full circle, even like to now, and you see like adult men have he said so that Goku was isekai.
What? I mean, he didn't go to another universe.
He didn't go to another world. He was
another planet.
But that's again, there's a reason why I love anime on the low, because this is the most anime engagement with other people I'll have for the next year, because I love like the young dudes in anime, like because it's so much hope and joy in that, but like it's only so much before somebody say something dumb, and then like my Twitter brain starts to be like, no, that don't make any sense, because Goku came on a spaceship. Bro. You sound ridiculous. You didn't even watch, so yeah.
I think sometimes it's just like some people just want to have fun with it, but sometimes they took it too far. And that's another thing. That's the thing I wanted to say earlier about the young people is and this is across Black youth culture. Black young people especially are looking for something to identify with in conjunction to their Blackness. Yeah. Like if you've known basketball players or athletes, like they athletes. If you like, they're not just like, oh, I ball, I'm a baller. You know what I'm saying? And that's because like, for some kids being a baller means you're not a thug. You're not a hoodlum, a street rat. Yeah. You're not a loser. You whatever. Like, no, like I'm, there's a desire in a lot of us to separate this image of Blackness from who we actually are, because one, that image is often seen as negative, even when it's really not. And then two, it's forced upon us. You know what I'm saying? Like you like the world sees you and says, oh, you one of them. And that's kind of all it can ever be from your perspective, or from the world's perspective. And when you say, no, I'm like this, they're like, yeah, but you really one of them. But if you put on a Naruto headband and you run down the hallway, like folks will get the picture. Like clearly, this nigga different. You know what I'm saying?
and like that,
You don't
there's
know how to play spades. You know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh, but you don't know how to play spades.
right. Look, you can't just group them in, and that's toxic overall. But I get the sentiment. You know what I'm saying? I get the desire to say I'm more than just this caricature of my skin. I'm all these different cool things. You know?
Yeah. So do you feel like there's any like particular like anime manga characters that kind of, you know, represent Black culture experiences well? Because it really is far and few between, and I feel like anime and manga just started getting good at showing how we
and then you're just drawing
better.
Black people.
Right? Like they kind of like if you see the icon here, like you see the girl from Hunter x Hunter, like
right,
they gave her some realistic hair. Killer Bee's okay, not the best representation. He's alright, but it's starting to get a little bit better with like other series like Fire Force and things like that in regards to just the look. Not so much a Black story. I don't know if we'll ever really.
We may not ever get that. I can't even tell white stories well. You know what I'm saying?
Like, when they talk about Americans, I'm like, all right, they violate just Americans, right? I'm supposed to sit here and expect them to spit some fire for Black people in America? Nah, not happening.
There's the meme. It was like, be the American Japan thinks you are, and it's like all of the like ridiculous, you know, American jacket. Blonde, big hair, sunglasses, Guile. Guile is the only time I'll be like, if a white person said he experienced racism, I'll be like, you know what? Maybe Guile was a little racist. And Paul from Tekken.
Yo. Oh, bro.
Like Paul and Bob. I forgot about Bob. Paul and Bob from Tekken.
Yeah,
maybe a little racist against white people. Beyond that, though, I ain't trying to hear. But like, I'll give you that. Yeah. So I think there's like projections of Black experience on a certain narratives. I never watched this, but my homeboy Hero the Kid did this really good video about Megalobox, I think it's called. It's a boxing show.
I know, watch it, but I know what it is.
Yeah. And you know, he talked about how he like extrapolated this very clear Black experience, and they were brown skinned characters, and most of them did have like nappy hair, so visually it connected a little bit. But also they all had this like, they were all in this immigrant colonized experience where they were mistreated by society, and were trying to find ways to claim a sense of humanity through sports. So like, there's clear elements there. Of course, we got to talk about Piccolo, right? The realest nigga in anime.
That nigga is Black.
Nick Piccolo is Black.
Yeah, it is doing a racial draft. I don't even think we need to do a racial draft for this one. That nigga Black, bro.
Right, my Namek. That's my Namek right there.
I'm crying because I'm like, oh shit, that could I'm like, that could stick.
And so like, you know, Piccolo, you know, is a stoic dude. He's stepping in, and when another man not taking care of his seed, he's like, "No, I'm not gonna just perish like that. I'm gonna teach the youth as best I can." You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Piccolo the best representation of a Black father we got in anime.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I can't think of anyone else. Not without transposing. Well, first off, fathers in anime, it's kind of rough on them. I can't think of too many good fathers in anime. Period. We got to start with Shinji Mikami, dad. And then the father in Fooly Cooley. Like, the fathers in anime be trash.
Naruto's dad ain't trash.
I don't. So you know what?
He just died.
I've watched a lot of Naruto. I can't remember barely any of it because I watched so much of it. I think I watched from when Rock Lee is introduced.
Giving the hands to Gaara.
No. When he gives the hands to Sasuke.
Oh yeah.
Like a couple episodes before. I watched like from there to, I don't even know. I have no clue. Be honest with you. Yeah. See, back in my day, right? Like, I was watching Naruto on like anime torrent sites and Anime Freak before it was like legit, when it would give your computer diseases. And so a lot of times you would have to skip episodes just because the episodes you're watching did not have a link for it. And so I really
they didn't have shit.
Yes, I watched like probably half of Naruto out of order, so I don't remember it well at all. I'd have to go back and watch it again.
I mean, back then it was like for me when I started getting into anime a little bit more, trying to expand out of whatever was on TV. It was like the YouTube glory days when I had to watch part 1 of 3 of 5. It was like I didn't even know a fraction could break down that way. But like you catch the first 6 minutes in one video, then you got to find somebody else maybe who uploaded the middle 7 minutes.
They have a whole different voice actor.
I mean, it got the job done.
Yeah.
We didn't have anything else. I mean, it was long past the days of like, and this might be TMI, when I was like 12, all the Dragon Ball DVDs that they used to sell and like VHSs, they always used to be in the back of like this kung fu like store that sell a whole bunch of kung fu tapes and things like that. I'm saying tapes, but people don't know what VHS is.
Know what tapes.
Yeah, people don't know what tapes is, but you know what tape is.
I know what a tape is, right?
So they have all like, you know, like all the kung fu films and all that, but then in the back you go past the beads, right?
Oh, so past the beads, y'all don't even know about the past the beads life. Yeah,
I know about the bead shit. So like,
right,
I would go
past
with
the beads is a special section that kids wasn't supposed to go in, but if you was like me, and I'm sure like you might have snuck past the bees a little bit in your
you go past the bees, and if you don't know what the bees is, that is it. I want to stay monetized on YouTube these days. You go past the bees, you might find some anime, maybe some anime that you probably shouldn't be watching either that belongs past the beads,
right?
But that era of that, and then the YouTube 1 for 3. Right. We spoiled these days. I know everybody got issues with
Chris Sullivan said,
so many.
He said part 1 of 8, but part 5 is in Spanish.
This shit was crazy, son. Like, and you just had to like deal with it.
Yeah. There weren't no Crunchyroll or Amazon, or I don't even know where people watch anime these days besides Crunchyroll. And I stopped watching anime mostly in general if it's not on Hulu or Amazon. Because I didn't like Crunchyroll's interface. And I heard it hasn't even changed at all.
It's rough. It's hard for me because I'm just like, okay, you guys see what? Just use Netflix as the bar. Unfortunately, like I know people have their issues with, you know, all of them ads now, all of them. But like in regards to interface, just copy the interface. Just copy the UI. Unless there's copyright stuff I don't know about, and there's some legal stuff I don't know about. I shouldn't have to scroll through 8 different titles of a show to change the language that it's in. And that's just like a weird like place that we're in with the website.
The English version, the Spanish version. I wouldn't know where to start. I probably just, you know, are torrent sites even still a thing?
Only for like, I know there's one
for
One Piece. There's a torrent for it, but that's only because they somebody took the time to edit out all the filler every episode and all that other stuff. But now it's just like you either have your illegal sites. I'm not naming any of them, but they exist still.
Put them in the private
things
chat.
You pay for, but I just pay for it because I'm just like, all right, somebody got to get paid somehow. If I still love the medium, if I want it to continue to get pumped out, then my dollars got to go into it for them.
True.
It's a never ending cycle. If nobody makes money, then nothing gets made.
I may need to get. I'm iffing at starting One Piece the manga. I've been told. Everybody always wants to watch the thing, and like
One Piece is the thing.
Well, I've heard One Piece is the thing. Like I did it with Berserk because I had, like I said in the video, I had read bits and pieces of Berserk since I was like a kid, and never really stuck with me. But like I had so many people say, no, you really got to read Berserk. You really got to read Berserk. Finally, I was like, okay, no, this was pretty damn good.
That shit surprised me. I started it last year, and I was absolutely amazed. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting this. Yeah, I thought it was just gonna be.
I wasn't familiar with your game. That was me. You know. So I'm thinking about starting One Piece. I don't think I'm gonna do the anime just because.
Yeah, don't do it to yourself.
It's like I'm not trying to look up a filler list, versus the manga.
If you and I'll do the quick obligatory One Piece fan pitch meeting, if you go through it or whatever. But it really is. It's just different out of everything I've ever gotten to. Because of my age, I was part of like that generation that experienced the big 3, which is like One Piece, Bleach, and Naruto. And I got into Bleach way, way later, but Naruto was the first thing I got into, and I was ride or die for that shit. And unfortunately, we live in a world where
You only watch
can't
one.
be a fan of all three. You can only watch one. At the time, you only had time for one. I was young, so like I ain't had time to be watching all three, let alone where to find them. So I wrote out with Naruto for mad long. I got into One Piece in 2018, and I did the anime. At the time, there was only 800 something episodes.
800 something?
At the time, I did 800 episodes in like 3 months.
Yo, I thought it was like 170 something.
Oh no!
I know you're not telling the truth, fam. Hold on.
How many chapters do you think it is?
Yo,
you guys don't look it up. Just you got spit.
I'm looking it up right now.
Don't look it up. A chapter just came out today.
Yo, it's 1,000 episodes. It is.
So,
are they all a half hour long?
Well, I mean, like, listen, it's 23 minutes, and then with the intro and the recap, it's like 18, 17 minutes.
Oh, that's wild.
Right. So,
how many chapters of the manga?
So it's right now we're on chapter 1089. It is a task indeed.
But I've heard that it earns its lip, but I just wasn't ready for you to say 800. I thought you was gonna say I really thought you was about to say 170 something.
Nah, well, think about it. This shit came out in 97, and it's come out every week since then.
Yeah, and that's an ongoing story. That's wild. You know,
this dude it's bananas because somebody shouldn't be able to keep up this consistency this long. And because normally the ball drops after a while. I mean, Naruto ended at 700, Bleach ended around like 700 something. So the fact that this is still going on and it came up before both of those, but the quality has only gotten better and it's collected more fans. Is a testament.
Bleach was my initial of the big three. You know, I was watching it as an adult. I was watching it like almost at your age. And that was probably my favorite initially. And then, like, I never forget, I probably never watched another episode of Bleach. Have you watched any Bleach?
Yeah, I'm caught up on Bleach, yeah.
Okay.
They're coming out with new episodes now.
When what's the dude? Is it Aizen? Who was the big bad? When Aizen stopped Bleach's sword with one finger, I cut that shit off. I was like, y'all not about to do it because I had already been through Dragon Ball Z and I knew I don't like low key. It's weird. When I got older, I got less and less into shonen. My favorite all time anime is Madoka Magica. Yeah. You know, I don't include the later stuff. I only say it's the first 13 episodes. That's it. Yeah. But like, because I need stuff to end, or I need you to earn being long, like Berserk, right? Yeah. And so when you do the anime thing like Dragon Ball Z, where it's just all right, so we got the main enemy, he's the most powerfulest, greatest, dangerous thing ever to try to destroy the earth. And then like, all right, so Goku got to train. We got to train, nigga. Hit the hyperbaric chamber, get it in, boy. You know what I'm saying? Pop them Zenzu beans. Let's scrap. All right, we almost didn't make it, but we won. And then like 3 episodes later, all right, now here's the real dangerous motherfucker. The baddest motherfucker alive. Twist. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he gonna kill this nigga in 1 episode. Yeah. Like
it's not even my final form, like all type of shit like that.
I'm like, wait, I just watched you fight this other dude for 40 episodes. You about to do it again? Like, can we? I was enjoying the Great Saiyan Man. I wanted to see like something. You know,
I want to see Gohan chill.
Like I need development. I don't want to repeat that. And so like that's how I've been like that. I've always gotten beef because you know as an old head, Dragon Ball Z is where it's at for people my age because that's where everybody started. And I never like after Cell Saga I was done with Dragon Ball Z. And I barely made it through Cell Saga.
That's a good spot to stop. Honestly, right? Keeping it a buck.
And so when Aizen, when I watched every episode of Bleach. I remember that joint. I remember it was a school and they're fighting hollows in the middle of the city, and the Quincy nigga got a bad attitude, an old girl with the big boobs, and the dude that may be black or Arabic with his right hand. Yep, right. You know what I'm saying? Is he? Okay, see? Yeah. Like, I remember all of that. Like going up and we go to the Soul Society. Oh, it's all kinds of new dope shit here. Oh, we going into our own version of hyperbaric chamber. Oh, the cat is a bad bitch now. Okay, cool. Like all this stuff he comes out and he's got he's whooping ass. He's got his new thing, and when he stops it with his finger,
that nigga stopped the intro.
Right,
there was a song playing. He even stopped the song. The song stopped when he did it. Because the nigga Ichigo theme song was playing. He was like,
right. He was like,
and
no,
then the finger stopped. No, nigga, stop that music.
Right. I was like, it was like flashbacks. I was like, I know exactly what y'all about to do, and I'm done. Did not watch another episode after. So I have no idea what happens after that moment.
What I think is the appeal different from most shonen for One Piece, and we'll get back to like the topic at hand once I kind of finish the One Piece cell, because we unfortunately always do it. We get kind of called like the Jehovah Witnesses of the anime community. We are always pitching this shit. Always, we will be at your doorstep being like, "Have you read the Good Word? Have you read the Good Word of Oda?" But what drives this series isn't the fights; it's the story and the narrative.
Yeah,
and that's what's more important. The fights are kind of mid, like if we keep it in a buck in One Piece, like, and that's just me being honest about it. You could watch so much other different shonen and different anime if you're looking for top tier fights, top tier animation, fight choreography. There's so much other series you can take part in. But if you're looking to kind of get encroached in the world that, unfortunately, this also happens to do with Hassan, One Piece is political.
Yeah,
people don't want to believe it. There was a whole thing about it with Hassan when he was on Trash Taste podcast where he said that, and at first they were like, "What do you mean it's political?" And I'm like, "That's when we go back to media literacy thing." You're like, "Bro, there's like trans representation in One Piece. There's racism, there's slavery, there's healthcare issues, there's like global warming issues. Like as of recently, there's so much things to unpack in the series because the world feels so lived in. That's what makes the experience worth it. So you're gonna hit them with like, this fight is dumb, but you're like, but I'm invested in learning more about the world itself. And
that's what makes a good fight work, is that I care about, that it feels like it has stakes, and I care about what's happening. I can't remember the last thing I watched, and I was like, I was complaining about Creed 3, but we're gonna get way off into another tangent if I have to talk about. And I was like, yo, this movie could have been like an all-time great if this fight would have had more stakes, and it doesn't. But yeah. But back to the main topic. We see y'all, I got some weeb in me. I know what it feels, I don't do it like I used to. One of the things about getting older is that time shrinks. And so like everything feels so everything you do that's not work or parenting or connected with my wife or exercising, it feels like it's cheating. It feels like you're supposed to be doing something else. And so like I've contracted my hobbies. I used to be an avid comic book reader. I used to play every game. Now I only play 3 or 4. I play Madden every year, Tekken, if a Resident Evil come out, you know what I'm saying? And then I'll sneak in like a obscure, like right now I'm playing Battle Chasers, you know what I'm saying? Like a random indie JRPG. And so like anime, I just don't make time for it because it's not really, it just didn't make the cut, you know what I'm saying? But I did watch Devilman Crybaby. I did watch that. I tried to watch that. I was like,
I didn't watch Devilman Crybaby.
Yeah, I didn't make it through.
I heard I was supposed to, but
Chainsaw Man. That's what I just finished watching.
Chainsaw Man was dope. It's okay so far. I don't read it. I watch it. I just thought it was okay. Yeah. But yeah, is there any like anime or manga that you feel like kind of influence a little bit your personal identity, like like your perspective and things like that, or how you view the world? Because I know that maybe it's harder to say as you're older, but like when you're younger, probably anime was just at a different tier. What was the story being told was probably different now. Different now than what was then. So I could probably see it hitting somebody younger now these days than maybe what we grew up on.
No, so when I was younger, not really, because things it was just hype shows. I was never a super shonen fan. So, I appreciated young Goku and Dragon Ball, right? Yeah. But beyond that, nothing was really like clicking. I think the anime that has most affected me overall is Fooly Cooly. And that affected me, one, because I watched it entering into adulthood. I watched it like, that had to be like 02, 03. Let me Google that real quick. And I was probably like 21.
Fooly Cooly is one that I need to watch, but I know the whole plot of because I've watched so much YouTube videos about it instead of watching it. But even then, like, it's one of the few things where I don't even suggest people watch Fooly Cooly because
it's like it's good, but like I don't evangelize for it because you could never get what I got from Fooly Cooley in that particular moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in 2003, so I'm 21. I'm almost done with college. I'm like trying to understand manhood. And I'm also trying to like figure out what the fuck just happened during boyhood. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
Like
why did I get like that in third period? What?
Yeah, like what did I just go through? Right. You know what I'm saying? And so Fooly Cooley like suddenly like smoothed all of that. Like ironically, I'm using elements from the story. It smoothed all of that out and was like, yo, boyhood was wild, wasn't it? Remember this, remember that. Remember how you felt like you couldn't trust people. Remember how you felt like you couldn't trust yourself. All those things. And then I took that experience and I took that into teaching. And it's really informed the way, like one of the, you see it in my content. I was really frustrated even as a young person about like the nature of how boyhood worked in the West and how like it felt like I wasn't supposed to talk about it. Even though like it's obvious to anybody that has a critical eye how all like insert set problems here is connected to how like we raise or don't raise boys, right? And we stifle boys into these areas and don't give them any tools to even understand their condition. And so like I took that, so Fooly Cooley like expanded on that, and I took that energy into teaching, and like I was known as a teacher that would pull boys aside and I wouldn't give them tough talk. I wouldn't say, you going to, I wouldn't do the lean on me. I'll be like, yo, how are you feeling? What's going on with you? Do you want to hug? Come here. Like, and like, I had so many boys cry on me. Like the same boys walking through school with golds and rocks, real talk, with rocks in their pockets that I ain't want to know about with boo-hoo. You know what I'm saying? Because like them rocks ain't for them to do a hip hop lifestyle. It's to feed X, Y, and Z people at home, And so like once you start understanding that, it's hard to unsee it. But for a lot of people, it's hard to see it. And so like Fooly Cool is probably one of the fundamental ways in which I entered that headspace. But in 2003, at that age, it was a unique thing. It's kind of like I'm a hip hop head too. And so I don't suggest like young cats go back and listen to De La Soul. It's gonna sound whack to them.
It's gonna sound different. It ain't gonna hit the same.
Like it's still dope to me. But I get it if you're like, what's that Jay-Z meme? you're like shaking his head trying to find the beat,
Nah, I feel the same way. I mean, for me, like Naruto was one of those series for me because at that age when I found it, I was I want to say 14, maybe 15. And it wasn't just at first, it just like the hands is what appealed to me. I was like, oh, these niggas is scrapping. This shit is fire. And then like as I got to follow the series, I got to grow up with it kind of into my early 20s when the series ended. Like it taught me a lot about like belief, and it's gonna sound corny as hell because that is the tagline, like the believing in yourself aspect and the getting yourself out the mud. And I think that appeals, especially at a time when I was going through high school, and my first plan wasn't to like go to college and like do all this type of other shit. I wasn't really thinking about bettering myself, getting myself to the next stage or something more. I was more or less like surviving. Really just kind of think a lot of just surviving, just like, all right, I'm good. These niggas ain't jumped me today. I got back home from this day or whatever. Like I'm thinking about simple things day to day, and I wasn't thinking about the grander picture. And I think that's something that definitely holds a lot, I think, for anybody of any race in regards to like that motivation and that inspiration. But something about it just hits different, I think, when you're this young black kid trying to like who this kid doesn't have his parents, right? The main character, both his parents died. The world treats him like shit. My son is eating ramen every day. Like it something about
and all he's thinking about is get back.
Yeah,
that's real. That's a point I think that I missed just now when you said like why it resonates with black kids, especially. Yeah, that got it out the mud aspect of most shonen, especially, is probably a big part of it that I didn't touch on. That if I was ever to go back to that topic, I'd touch on, because there is something when I think about my kids that wrote for Naruto. Everything you just said, you know what I'm saying? Like when you feel like the world is like Naruto used to. The way folks, and it's so funny because like the way folks would treat Naruto, like I do know that's like some little boys really got it like that from their community, and so like I mean,
his whole village would look at him crazy. Like it felt like being like you could have been a black kid thrown in a suburban neighborhood. Right. You're gonna feel like Naruto. All these niggas gonna look at you crazy. What you doing here? You shouldn't be here. Like those parallels, even though somebody else can take something different from it. Those are something I think specifically in the black community we take from Naruto and other stuff. But Naruto has become my generation's DBZ. Won't just that there's the OD caping for it. You can't tell them nothing. I don't think the series is the best series out there, but it's something. It is a great story to tell about just growing and learning and just also being in touch with your emotions. I think anime, as over the top as a lot of the emotional interactions and things are.
Yeah,
they be exploring some shit that I think a lot of definitely guys in the black community, like black men and black women as well. Like I can't speak too much on the black women experience with anime because I feel like that's a whole nother journey.
Because they gotta go through us to get there, and we ain't always the best.
So, the gatekeeping is real in anime. It is what it is. I wish it wasn't that way, but unfortunately, that's just
we'll continue to fight on that. But now that's real because like what you just said about shit, I just lost it that quick. You were just saying before you talked about gatekeeping.
Shit, I lost what the fuck I was saying.
Damn. It's about 2:00 is about where I start getting towards nap time before I got to pick up these kids. But no, like, so we were talking about the got it out the mud part. Yeah. And then damn, it was something you had just said. Whatever.
Somebody let me know what I just said. Somebody let me know what I just said. Because sometimes you just be talking, you like, what the fuck?
You talking about emotions. You talking about emotions.
Oh, yes, there we go. Yeah.
And that's another thing is like, going back to what I said earlier about like how anime kind of like creates this safe place for people to explore emotions like that are usually barred from them in regular society. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Naruto is a good example. Like, you compare Naruto to Batman, right? Who's another, little boys love Batman. But like Naruto was going through it. Naruto was letting people know how he felt. Naruto was getting what's the word? They'll say when a girl ostracized, but also when a girl plays you to the side. What's that term?
Oh, he was getting this all
curved. He was getting curved.
I want to say curved, but I was like, I don't know what Gen Z be saying, so I don't know. I use curve.
He gets anti-rizzed. I don't know. I'm sorry, Gen Z. I still love you. I just don't know.
Naruto got no riz.
Naruto had no riz. And like had to like work through that, and they had to work through insecurities. Like, this girl likes me. Like, what? Like, that's a real any nerdy nigga. First girlfriend, 7 times out of 10 had to approach them first.
Or you was just confused. You was in disbelief the whole time. He's like, all right, this happening? This for real?
You playing with me? Why you playing with me?
Stop playing. Don't make me turn Super Saiyan in here.
It's so right. It's so funny. I never get somebody's TikTok. She said she pulls nerdy niggas with she has a Pokemon credit card and she just flashes it in front of niggas. And I was like, oh, that's wicked.
That is a fly trap right there. Honestly, if someone wanted to, they could really finesse a lot of just walk around some anime shit. You could trick a whole. You could.
Yeah, that's
you can have a harem.
Right. It'd be frustrating me when both black men and women nerds act like there aren't black men and women nerds out there for black men and women nerds. Like, look, like it's not as there's stuff there. There's energy. Yeah. And like, despite popular belief, I have no problem with interracial relationships at all. But I do think that when you say black men or women don't like me, it's not about them being black. It's either about how you see that or what you're giving, what the energy you're giving off. Yeah, because there's so many
layers there that you're not like people that don't unpack.
Right, it is. We got to get through the details on that conversation before you arrive at that.
Short. Is it me or them? They saying they can't hear a thing.
Oh shit!
Let me see.
That's weird.
Audio.
Anybody else hear me?
Check. I hear you. I think I'm good.
It might be their headphones.
Might be your internet. Nah.
Right.
But
So
yeah,
you see the stretching going on. This is definitely like we on the countdown.
You gotta get the big chair, man. You gotta get the big chair so you have enough to stretch out.
See, I gotta do a lot of things. I'm still like you lucky. Like I see you got a dope setup. Your boy's still in his kitchen. Like this is my dining room table I'm at right now. I
thought the walls were green so you can do the green screen effects.
No, this is the paint we painted. We just decided we want to be quirky when we got this house. We painted the wall green. Yeah. And somebody just left a comment.
They can hear now. They can hear.
Okay, cool. Yeah, one day, like if I can keep going, I'll buy me a house, and get my own space to do this because it is not conducive to having a full setup. I got to break down everything before my kids. Well, now they're older, but like when COVID first started and I started getting equipment and they were like, 7 and 4, it was like, all right, I'm gonna need y'all to chill out. I'm gonna need y'all to stop running downstairs.
Yeah.
I turned into my granddad. Stop running in the house. Like it got deep. So
didn't I be playing that toilet, that Kevin Hart shit?
Right.
Kevin Hart shit's crazy.
Shit.
But one thing I wanted to touch on is like, so what are your thoughts on kind of how you see a lot more Black celebrities or influencers in the anime space, or talking about anime as a whole? Like, so in the thumbnail, one of the thumbnails, like I have like Lil Uzi Vert and Meg Thee Stallion, but
right,
have,
right.
Like a lot of big influencers, more so on TikTok now because I think it's skewing younger.
Mm-hmm.
But like Straw Hat Goofy, and then there's just a lot of cosplayers.
I had that one football player who's Jamal Williams, played for the Lions,
running around with the headband.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's so there's two things. The first one is going to be, positive. The next one's going to be cynical. So on a positive note, like Meg, because she got tested so much, which is just the sad reality of how this shit works. Like Meg clearly was a nerd or into anime from like an early age, from her younger days, right?
You can tell sometimes, yeah.
It screams through, like she's in there for real. And I think it was just hard for dudes to think that it was like a woman that attractive would also do anime, but it's like y'all clearly ain't been paying attention. There's beautiful women all around y'all niggas.
Yeah, I ain't never been to a con.
Like you never been right. It's there.
You been to a con as long as you're not being nasty. But there's a lot of women there that obviously like just that some of you niggas be musty there. But whatever.
Right. Deodorant is a thing.
Yeah.
And so like, but it's also like Meg is also in her early 20s or like mid 20s. So she's younger than you, which means like she would have came of age in a post Toonami world, which gives so much opportunity for anime, like being at that mainstream level by then. Like anime is legit mainstream by the early 2010s. It's not as where it is now, but it's graduated from being only underground musty entertainment into being well-known, influencing media, influencing movies. Freaking Zack Snyder clearly is influenced by anime, right? Yeah. So it's, and then like it's awesome. Anime is really, really cool. So if you are a person that is into cool, exciting, imaginative shit, you're going to get into anime. And then it's so much of it, and it gets so deep. If you have a certain type of brain, if you got that nerd brain, you're going to get deep into anime. So I can imagine Lil Uzi Vert, and the football player get into it, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. On the flip side, in fact, we're going to change hands on the mic. On the flip side, though, is how these algorithms work and the cynical reality of making content for YouTube, TikTok, etc.
Yeah.
And the internet is saturated with chronically online people. And those chronically online people have a variety of different things that they're into, different niches and genres and interests. But some of the most active and largest population are going to be anime fans. Young boys especially that are looking to see that sexy, Sailor Moon cosplay, that are looking to see that really dope, what's the Demon Slayer cosplay, right? Yeah. They want to see that. They're into it. And so this, and I don't want to get into like the gatekeeping content thing, right? I don't want to do that, but you do have to recognize that there is a profit motive involved with becoming an anime related influencer, because that'll pop your brand. You know what I'm saying? If you can corner the market, and those fans, you know, they can be annoying, but they're also, they're hardcore, you know?
I mean, you can always tell, but I think there, like you said, the gatekeeper thing, that there is that line you don't want to cross between gatekeeping, but you also can tell sometimes, like, I feel like that person's clout chasing more than anything, to try to like grow their brand. So now, like I said before, like the whole, it's cool to be into anime now.
Yeah,
I don't want to shun people from getting into anime, but also, be careful how you move in this community a little bit, because niggas are savages. So when niggas smell blood in the water, they're gonna come for you,
right? And because you want to give to, I compare it to hip hop a little bit. You know, I don't know if you watch the Drake videos, but like I have this like perspective when you talk about niche outsider communities, right? So that's anime, that's hip hop, that's, you know, wrestling, you know, MMA fans, you know, right? Things that are you can't talk about them everywhere and expect people to be into it even a little bit sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And you might get looked at like you the weirdo, you know? So like there's a negative aspect, which is like, I think some people identify so much with their hobby that they feel like other people need to suffer to also identify, because they feel like they suffered, right? I did feel like I suffered as an anime fan, right? Especially in the 90s.
Run, no.
Right. You gotta walk. That's how I feel. Like I walk so you can run, and I love seeing y'all do that. I love that I'm on a anime stream with another brother from Brooklyn that's 10 years younger than me, and it's like it's like we just in our bag right now, right?
Yeah.
You know, but some people are like, you know what? No, y'all are too this. Y'all not real anime fans. It's because it's really coming from a place of hurt, which is why, like, you know, Quiet as It's Kept, I try to hold space for people dealing with that. But on the flip side, going back to my hip hop comparison, and you know, I don't know if this will happen to anime, because anime just may not have all the necessary tools for this to happen. But when something gets popular and commodifiable and commercializable, it loses chunks of it that made it great. And that's why, you know, I made the joke in a video a little while ago, like hip hop is great now. Like I don't want to ever be mistaken as like an old head saying hip hop is dead. And I'm like, hip hop is dope. I love so much hip hop.
What you mean? Not about the hip?
Right. Yeah, I'm not about the rappers delight on you. I love the new shit. Except I don't get the New York drill. I do not get it. I don't know if you're too old for it.
I'm also too old for it, bro.
Okay.
I mean, I like the Spice of Ice. Like I like Ice Spice. It's cool.
I like Ice Spice.
But like down the pipeline. Also, like my knees can't do all the dance moves they be doing. So I just stay in my lane. The dance now, I'm not built for it.
Yeah, it's like a lot of these beats sound the same. Like I ain't got no Premiere.
Yeah,
y'all ain't
got no Premiere. What is y'all sampling everything and turning it back into drill? What's going on?
Right. But there was a point today. I was about to say, so hip hop is still in a good space, but I think something was lost when like the mainstream culture of hip hop stopped being something that everybody could be a part of. And now if you want to be like a hip hop star, you gotta sound and look like Drake. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, the closest is like Travis Scott. Yeah. You know, like you can't be like when I was in the 90s. All right, so now I'm gonna get some old head back. In the 90s, like when you turned on MTV or BET or whatever, watch hip hop, you know, videos, you would see a little bit of everything. But now the algorithm says this is the most popular thing. You will watch this. You don't like hearing this same sound on TikTok over and over again? You better close the app, because this is the sound of the week, you know? And so I understand if people, and like that's happening. That's the isekai in anime. If you think about it.
That isekai is basically drill music.
The Isekai's drill music. That's
Isekai,
real.
damn, Isekai's drill music, bro. It's mad drill music and it's mad
Isekais. And it's
There's
like
some Isekais that slap, but you know what you get.
Yeah. Can I get another Black Lagoon? You know, can I get another Trigun? Yeah. Like there was a lot of imaginative stuff that has not. Everything is a magical high school or an isekai. It's a harem, and the harems maybe have gotten better. It's a magical high school or it's an isekai. That's pretty much it at this point. And that gets old. Well, it gets old to me.
Yeah, I see the parallel a lot actually there. I think the one thing that slightly helps manga and anime original stuff, I think will fall into that kind of like similar oversaturation of the same style. But with manga, I think because unlike American comic books, it's usually one person story from their point of view, and they don't really have too much. They have some interference with like bigger companies to tell them, editors to tell them, maybe you should do this instead of that, or maybe pivot this character or add this type of character. But they can't really change or build the story themselves. We're still just one person's vision,
right?
So I think that'll always give it some slight
edge
protection
in terms of like storytelling.
Unless the industry completely changes. Honestly, I don't know when anything's gonna happen. I feel like just the whole entertainment industry has changed in the past 4 years, right?
Because I know it just hit me. A dark idea just hit me. Because I know if we are trying to hustle AI in America, if people are going over strikes for AI in America, where we do strikes and where we got labor like rights and stuff like, well, barely, but we have some fight for that stuff.
Yeah.
But low key, I know that shit is about to go wild in Japan.
First of all, they're gonna make it way better. They're gonna make the AI way better,
right?
Well, when it comes to certain shit, they just do it better than us. They already got vending machines that walking around already, right? All type of shit, right? So that means that the AI is probably gonna go nuts.
Yeah, but they about to cut so many. Like they're already paying some of these animators. I heard like McDonald's money.
It's trash. Like when I learned, that's what makes me want to. That's what makes me still pay for at least the services. Yeah, because I know how much they make per year. Some of them make equivalent to American money, $10,000 a year. I don't care where you live. You $10,000 a year is not. It's not getting you nothing. Like in any country, I think at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. I'm happy. That may be another time. I haven't wanted to talk about AI in a video just because I don't know enough about it. But now that it's starting to encroach into work and labor stuff, I got to pull my radical leftist hat out for a second. We'll figure out how that fits.
This nigga killing us. He said, "You sound like old heads." Isekai's been around a lot longer than you talk about. For instance, you two don't have the same energy against Inuyasha. Inuyasha's okay, first of all. We keep it in the box. Like Inuyasha. Sorry, Chairman. Inuyasha's it ain't that good. Nobody really remembers the story. You remember waking up at 3 a.m. and hearing the outro. It's It ain't the best shit ever. It's just
It was cool.
The sequel.
It was the first. It was a good mix of shoujo and shonen tropes. Yeah, which doesn't happen enough. Yeah, but so like isekai. Alice in Wonderland was an isekai. The Matrix is an isekai. Like we talking about.
Yeah, Digimon is isekai. There's mad isekais.
Right. We talking about I got hit by a truck and I get all the bitches in another world. Like I guarantee you, that's a title of an isekai. I guarantee you.
I think there is just like full on straight out, like because you can the reincarnated and then as whatever is you reincarnated as a sword, reincarnated as a spider,
slime,
reincarnated as an aristocrat, reincarnated as a slime. What are we talking about here? Like, this is not even old head shit. This is a fact.
This is just the reality situation, and you can only do that. I think so. Sword Art Online, which everybody shits on for good reason. I think that was the first. That was when I understood the isekai as a genre.
Yes,
right. And then I think that opened the floodgate. So there was another one I kind of liked, but I stopped watching after a while. What was that called? It's Log Horizon. I think came out like right after Sword Art Online. And then like the floodgates opened, and I lost track. And like the most recent one I tried to enjoy was Shield Hero. That was kind of cool.
First season, second season was.
Did it start getting but then like the 4-year-old mouse girl thing, and then we ain't even gonna touch the 1,000-year-old lollies. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yo,
it's
lolly culture is wild.
yeah,
Boy,
like
but
we
I don't
working
wanna-
real hard to love anime. It's not an easy. It's
Yeah,
a toxic relationship.
You got to put stuff away. It's almost like being a Knicks fan for me. There's certain things you got to be like, you know what? I'm gonna just let just gotta let
Yeah.
certain things slide. I'm here for it. I love you. I care about you, anime. But why'd you do that? You ain't have to do that. This character doesn't have to be 14.
Right,
This
right.
and interacting with this grown man. I don't
It
gotta
doesn't.
do certain
It doesn't
things.
have to happen like this.
Yeah,
I'm hoping for more. Even I haven't watched any of it. I just know like the Korea for whatever reason avoids a lot of the high school shit.
yeah.
But they have to develop their own industry. Same thing with China. And I really don't. What I don't get. So here's a question for you: the way niggas love anime, what is holding us back from having more? I didn't like this, so you know, there's a problem. What was it was the Netflix black anime called
Ooh, oh, shit.
What was that? What was that
I'm
called?
about to show my. I was like, I know exactly which one you talking about. Black anime. I'm about to Google it.
No, not Black Clover, not Yasuke.
It was the
Cannon Busters.
Yasuke? Cannon Busters. Oh, I see it. Yeah, 2019.
And Yasuke wasn't all that great either. So maybe it's just the fact that we ain't had a real good one yet, right?
I think what it is usually the best anime, in my opinion, usually comes from an adaptation from a manga.
Right.
And I think anime original stuff, there's plenty of good anime original series. And I'm not saying it because it's great anime movies, right? Those anime movies are different. But when it comes to like a series or something that's 12 to 13 episodes, I think having that reference point of the manga usually makes, things a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
So with certain series that we've gotten on Netflix, I just think the storytelling aspect isn't connecting there, because I don't know if it's maybe it could be like a cultural thing. It's maybe something in the way that people in Japan, when they grow up, when they write these stories and tell them, they tell them in a very different way, and it hits a lot of different things. Where I don't know if a lot of them, and I'm not even going to use just black people, I'm just going to use Americans, period, just don't delve into certain aspects of storytelling. Because if you think about how a lot of people can't even understand how deep certain things are, with like whether it be like the Barbie movie. There's some people who just don't even catch all the messages that's in a Barbie.
I still ain't seen it yet. Don't ruin it. I'm gonna actually go. People keep on telling me I would really want to see it.
I enjoyed it. I liked it. I know there's niggas who's gonna have an issue with it, but that's with all things, right?
I've heard that a lot of I heard a lot of men are like. I heard it has a subtly pro men message that some men are still angry about because it's not pro men. Like
it's not in the direction they want it to go in.
Yeah, which is
the pro man, like it's really not. It's looking out. It's trying to look out for niggas. It's trying to be like, yo, hey, you should be. This is about you. I'm trying to look out for you, but it's more like, but why'd you say all that other shit about me though? Like, no, there's some other shit. There's a good message here. You worry about all that other shit, which is fucking childish shit. But there's some shit here that's like, it's something here for you.
Well, so much of this stuff is childish though. Like we get into the conversation. I want to I need to bounce in a sec. I want to make sure I get to your last couple of. I don't want to make sure we leave any meat on the table before I get out of here.
So the last thing I just want to kind of touch on. Do you feel like anime wouldn't be where it is now without black people?
Oh hell no. And it's so funny. It's so funny because anime fans, these young white anime avatars on Twitter are some of the worst motherfuckers in the world. Low key. And they love to police anime for like black influence and whatnot. But not only is anime driven, and not only is anime culture greatly driven by black people in the West, anime itself is driven by black culture in Japan. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so much clear influence of black culture on anime before it even hits our eyes. You know what I'm saying? 100%. Like, and it's not just Samurai Champloo with the obvious dude doing breakdance sword fighting. Yeah. Like it's in Cowboy Bebop's Jazz. It's in freaking My Hero Academia's like half of its aesthetic. You know what I'm saying? And old girl boombox ears. Like it's so many different things that are obviously connected to Black cultural touchstones. And then when you add the fact that, at least in America and in the West, if there's one resource Black people control that if we wanted to do like some collective organizing around, it's entertainment and influence on culture, right? It's the problem is we don't have a way of controlling it. It's literally just like, it feels like white people peek into our basements while we do cool, fun shit and then go make TikToks about it and get rich. And we just keep on making up new shit. You know what I'm saying? And so like the same thing with anime, like the anime cosplay, the some of these fandoms, the Twitter, the TikToks, like so much of that is driven by Black people. Anime couldn't have become cool.
Yeah.
Like name the celebrity anime fans that aren't Black.
I don't know.
I can't think of any.
What Timothy Chalamet might say some shit one day that I don't know about. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know shit about it. But like those, they don't be the one vocal about it.
Right? You talking about Michael B. Jordan? You know what I'm saying? Like I get Zack Snyder's the only one I think I know has talked about liking anime, and it showed in a movie a bunch of people hated.
You talking about Justice League?
No. Before that,
it was fucking Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch, which I low key love. I'm a Sucker Punch apologist.
I actually kind of enjoy Sucker Punch. I thought that shit was just I was just there for the chaos, but that's
Schoolgirl fights a giant samurai with a minigun. Like I'm not about to. Shut up!
Shut
the fuck up! This is
you know what we came here for. You know we came here for. You know.
Right. I don't want to watch her dance in the asylum. I get you. That's weird. But like after that, they fought robots on a train. Shut up. You know what I'm saying? That's an isekai.
That's isekai right there, bro. That shit's isekai.
Oh shit. But it's you know, and maybe I'm just not as in touch with white anime fandom. Of course, there's white anime fandom, and it's strong, and you have your influences like
the YouTube population.
Right. But like the way that Black culture just influences the internet, the way I came on here and was hearing people say stuff like simp and gas and all these slang terms, I'm like, how did these slang terms get to the anime space, get to the meme space on Reddit? What are y'all talking about, simp? What do you know who Pimp C is?
Well, to be fair, most people don't even. I think only we usually know where the words come from.
Right.
By the time it hits mainstream, they just think I learned it from the internet. Internet has become ubiquitous.
It's internet language. I'm like, all right,
language. You're like, okay, you stole that from some fucking Riz. You stole from a Black person in Brooklyn somewhere. Y'all don't even know.
I'll give him Riz. I don't know. Did we do Riz too? That feels like we didn't make that
Riz,
one up.
I think came from like Kai Cenat, but he made it more popular. He said he didn't come up with
the word.
Still? But he made it more popular, right?
Yeah.
It's just so much other shit, like fucking. It's just mad words where you just you're like, bro, y'all have no idea that's us. We know we never gonna get our flowers,
right?
Anime definitely is just not good. It's no way it's as popular as it is without
not at all.
Because
not at all.
We not inherently, but like it's just how it is here. People look at everything we do as cool. Whether it be when we started
even if it's lame.
We started wearing Levi's and niggas started wearing Levi's again. I'm like, we discovered Levi's and we was like, oh shit. Now I will never wearing Rockaware now. And I'm like, bro, what?
Right.
Like,
I will never
Gen
forget
Z white girls to wear Rockaware. I shit you not, bro.
Hold on, I'm about to. I got to run after this, but I never forget in the early 2000s, Nelly and like the Atlanta like long T-shirt era. Yo, that was the worst fashion era ever.
I can't.
We were down bad with the long T-shirts to the knees. Nelly got a Band-Aid on his face for no.
I was 14 with a 5XT.
Nelly used to do this thing that this is the one fad that I never participated in because I was like, this is too stupid. Even like I am 19, my brain isn't fully developed, but I can tell this is stupid, and I'm not gonna do it with y'all. Nelly used to do this thing where he would wear a normal T-shirt, and then wear a jersey just over his head and one arm. And it was the dumbest looking thing.
Yes.
It was. I was like, why are we doing this? And I would never forget. I would walk out my dorm and I would walk to campus and I would see 12 niggas rocking their shirt. And they were doing it with polos.
Yo, we was down.
And Blaze.
That 2001 to like 2005 was just like
it really
was.
We were
like gross. We thought we was spitting. They really thought we were spitting some shit, son.
It's all bad. It was all bad.
But now
it's you know what? Because niggas was doing it and we said it was cool, it caught on. Niggas had spinning rims. That was a whole era.
Yo, having a Hummer was so a waste. Like
yeah. And like, spinning rims always broke your car. Like people don't like spinning rims didn't last because you would get your spinning rims, it would fuck up your alignment and your you would get rid of them. But like it was so cool that people kept doing it. Like it's nonsense. It is ridiculous nonsense that we got away with for years.
Yeah.
So miss me with the anime hot takes about black people not belonging.
Yeah, that shit is always crazy. They don't want us there. They don't want us to cosplay, but y'all wouldn't be here without us,
right?
Honestly. So
right.
But yo, thank you again for taking the time to do this. I appreciate it. This is a dope combo. Obviously, we didn't get to expound on our thoughts completely. We were just like chopping it up and shit.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna fact check us and be like, "Oh, you didn't talk about this." Shit happens.
Feel free to fact check me. I am sorry for wherever I was wrong for the most part.
I mean, we forgot what we said to each other probably like 4 seconds before. Like, what the fuck did I just say? So like,
right.
We just talk it. That just happens sometimes, right?
It just is what it is. Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate you again. Good looks, FD. Thanks for showing love. Thank you everybody who came through, watched the stream, chopped it up in the chat and all that. Really appreciate y'all as well. So we out of here, yo.
Peace and blessings, yo.
Peace out, y'all. Enjoy your life.
I'm running out, man. Just email me